Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today I'm back in the kitchen and I'm talking rhubarb. Specifically, I'm going to be dehydrating rhubarb today, but there's going to be lots of different videos coming up on different ways of using rhubarb. Now, we have just traditional British rhubarb grown and we haven't forced rhubarb this year. Sometimes people force rhubarb by putting a container over it to put it in a dark place. The container usually goes over in November, December time or December, January time, depending on where you are. And rhubarb will then grow to look for the light and it will grow lovely pink, tender stems, and people can start harvesting them a lot earlier in the year than where we are now. So it's the beginning of April. We're just approaching Easter weekend here in the UK, so it's the perfect time for me to start harvesting some rhubarb and to start doing different things with it in the kitchen. So to dehydrate it, the reason I'm dehydrating it is one, to preserve it in a different way than freezing it, eating it fresh or canning it. And two, because I want to be able to have rhubarb tea throughout the winter. This is a really nice tea to have on hand. So you literally take some of the dehydrated rhubarb and pour some hot water on it, strain it through after a minute or two, depending on your taste. Sweeten it with honey if you want, or anything, another rhubarb syrup. In fact, I'm going to do a recipe for rhubarb syrup as well, which is absolutely lovely. And just drink it as a herbal tea. So a really healthy, good way to preserve rhubarb, and I'm going to take you through that just now. I've harvested about 8 to 10 stalks here from the garden last night. So I've left the leaves on for now. Rhubarb leaves are actually poisonous, so I'm just going to chop those off. We compost them. Some people put them in the bin because they don't trust the heat of the compost to destroy them, but ours is absolutely fine. So I'm going to start getting these tidied up and washed. Now, to dehydrate rhubarb, you can literally just chop it and put it straight into the dehydrator. So just take all of the leaves off. You need a really sharp knife for rhubarb because it can be quite stringy. Oh. Sorry, Rodney. And the next thing you want to do is to take off this bit is where it was joined to the plant. So where you can, you're better off just washing and keeping the skin. So just this is how much we're going to be preserving today, just to show you the process. So I'm going to get this washed, chopped up into pieces around that size. And we'll get those in the dehydrator. Okay, so that's all chopped. You will notice there's different colours of rhubarb, so sometimes inside it's a lot greener than others, and sometimes on the skin as well you get later rhubarb that will be a lot more green. Some rhubarb will be a lot more pink. Again, different times of year, different varieties. Don't worry about that. Any rhubarb will do for most recipes. So I'm going to try and get these all separated. So we've got our chopped, fresh, not blanched rhubarb. Now I'm just going to layer it onto the dehydrator. So any thicker pieces I'm going to pop at the bottom. And also when rhubarb dehydrates, it goes really, really small, so you might find that they drop through anyway and they end up in the bottom of the dehydrator. So the dehydrator that I've got is just a budget one at the moment. Well, I say at the moment, it's doing me just fine. It's an Andrew James 9 shelf, I think it is. Cheap to run, so don't think that they use up loads and loads of electricity, because they don't have the exact figures, but I did do my research when I got this 5 years ago. Okay, so you want to leave some room for them to circulate. Now on this dehydrator you can actually put the sleeves on this way or that way, and it just raises it up or lowers it down depending on what you're actually dehydrating, how much space you need. So I tend to put it on the higher one just to let more air circulation go around. I'm running out of the bigger bits now, so this is a bit more of a mix. And all I'll do is keep an eye on this throughout the course of the day. This will take around 10 to 12 hours on 125 Fahrenheit. Now I will put the Celsius on the screen, but my dehydrating book is in Fahrenheit. Pop it on the timer in the dehydrator, as I say, 125 or as close as I can get it. And then I'll just leave this to go for the rest of the day while I get on with the rest of my jobs I've got on. That's done 4 trays. The last one's not as full as the rest, so I'll get these straight over to the dehydrator. £125 is around 51.6. I'm going to actually change this. Let me just bring you down here. So that at the moment is on 70, so the temperature control on this goes up in 5-degree increments. So I'm just going to pop it on 50 because it's always better to err on the side of caution rather than start to cook things. So that's on 50 degrees now, and I'll just leave that for 10 hours. And I'll keep checking on it throughout the day because I will be here. And then any bits that are actually already dehydrated before the others, I'll remove them and lower the shelves if it warrants, if there's not enough on to keep all of the shelves on. So there you go, folks, 16 hours later. Took a little bit longer than I anticipated in the dehydrator. I did turn it up to 55 degrees C in the end, but it's really dried out. When you pick it up and you drop some on the countertop, it's actually just making a clicking noise. So it's completely dry. If you pick it up in your hand and try and squash it together, it won't stay together. So it's completely dry. Really pleased with that. As you can see from what it was to what it is, there's a lot of water, a lot of moisture in rhubarb that will get dehydrated. So this actually is going to take up a very small space in a jar now. I'm going to make a herbal tea out of it just to see what it's like. But I really hope that you guys try this. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Next up, we've got some wild garlic. I'm going to try and get that dehydrated too. Thanks for watching.